Very good evening, viewers, and good evening, students. And now I am going to discuss on Indian accounting standards. Now, Indian accounting standard, that is Ind AS 1, preparation of financial statements. This standard sets out overall requirements for presentation of financial statements, guidelines for their structure, and minimum requirements for their content to ensure comparability. Ind AS 2, inventories accounting. It deals with accounting of inventories such as measurement of inventory, inclusion and exclusion in its cost, disclosure requirements, etc. Then Ind AS 7, statement of cash flows. It deals with cash received or paid during the period from operating, financing and investing activities. It also shows any change in the cash and cash equivalents of any entity. Ind AS 8, accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates and errors. It prescribes criteria for selecting and changing accounting policies together with accounting treatments and disclosures. Coming to next, Ind AS 10, events after reporting period. It deals with any adjusting or non-adjusting event occurring after reporting date. Ind AS 12, income taxes. This standard specifies accounting treatment for income taxes. The principal issue in accounting for income taxes is how to account for the current and future tax. Ind AS 16, property, plant and equipment. This standard prescribes accounting treatment for property, plant and equipment, shortly termed as PPE, such as recognition of assets, determination of their carrying amounts and the depreciation charges and impairment losses to be recognized in relation to them. Then Indian AS 19, employee benefits. This standard prescribes accounting and disclosure requirements relating to employee benefits. Ind AS 20, accounting for government grants and disclosure of government assistance. This standard shall be applied in accounting for and in disclosure of government grants and in disclosure of other forms of government assistance. Ind AS 21, the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. This standard specifies how to include foreign currency transactions and foreign operations in financial statements of an entity and how to translate financial statements into a presentation currency. Ind AS 23, borrowing costs. It provides borrowing cost incurred on qualifying asset should form part of that asset. It also guides on which finance cost should be capitalized, conditions for capitalization, time of commencement and cessation of capitalization of borrowing cost. Ind AS 24, related party disclosures. This standard ensures that an entity's financial statements contains necessary disclosures to draw attention to the possibility that its financial position and profit or loss may have been affected by the existence of related parties and by transactions and outstanding balances. Ind AS 27, separate financial statements. These standards prescribes accounting and disclosure requirements for investments in subsidiaries, joint ventures, and associates when an entity prepares separate financial statements. Ind AS 28, investment in associates and joint ventures. This standard prescribes accounting for investments in associates and to set out requirements for the application of equity method when accounting for investments in associates and joint ventures. Ind AS 29, financial reporting in hyperinflationary economies. This standard will give inclusive list of characteristics that will categorize an economy as hyperinflationary and reporting of operating results and financial position. IND AS 32, that is Financial Instruments Presentation. This standard establishes principles for presenting financial statement instruments as liabilities or equity and for offsetting financial assets and financial liabilities. IND AS 33, earnings per share. This standard prescribes principles for the determination and presentation of earnings per share. IND AS 34, interim financial reporting. This standard prescribes minimum content of an interim financial report and principles for recognition and measurement in complete or condensed financial statements for an interim period. Coming to IND AS 36, that is impairment of assets, this standard specifies procedures that an entity applies to ensure that an asset's carrying amount is not more than its recoverable amount. IND AS 37, provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. This standard ensures that appropriate recognition criteria and measurement bases are applied to provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets, and proper disclosures are made in the notes to enable users to understand their nature, timing, and amount. IND AS 38, intangible assets. This standard prescribes accounting treatment for intangible assets. It specified conditions for recognition of intangible asset and how to measure carrying amount at which intangible assets should be recognized. IND AS 40, investment property. This standard prescribes accounting statement for investment property and related disclosure requirements. IND AS 41, agriculture. This standard prescribes accounting treatment and disclosure related to agricultural activity. Now I am coming to other Indian accounting standards. IND AS 102, share-based payments. It deals with accounting of share-based payment transactions and reflect effect of such payment on profit or loss and financial statements of entity. IND AS 103, business combination. It applies to transactions or other relevant event that meets the definition of a business combination. This standard helps in improving the relevance, reliability, and comparability of the information that a reporting entity provides in its financial statements about a business combination and its effects. IND AS 104, insurance contracts. This standard specifies financial reporting for insurance contracts by insurer entity. IND AS 105, non-current assets held for sale and discontinued operation. This standard specifies accounting for assets held for sale and presentation and disclosure of discontinued operations. IND AS 106, exploration for and evaluation of mineral resources. This standard specifies financial reporting for exploration and evaluation of mineral resources. IND AS 107, financial instruments disclosures. These standards require entities to provide disclosures related to financial instruments that will enable users to evaluate significance of financial statements for entities' financial position and performance and nature and extent of risks arising from financial instruments to which the entity is exposed during the period and at the end of the reporting period, and how the entity manages those risks. Next, IND AS 108, operating segments. This standard discloses information to enable users of its financial statements to evaluate the nature and financial effects of the business activities in which it engages and the economic environments in which it operates. IND AS 109, financial instruments. This standard established principles for financial reporting of financial assets and financial liabilities that will present relevant and useful information to users of financial statements for their assessment of the amounts, timing and uncertainty of an entity's future cash flows. So that is all about. So for this video is concerned, I'll be continuing in the next video. Thank you. See you.